soaps and candles, go to them, essenceandlight.com.au. Titans and the Dragons, Jubilee Oval round 21. What an exciting game for the Dragons. There's the Titans team, and we've got Blaze, our special guest. He can run through it.
All right, well, we've got fullback Keanu Kenny, Special K, with wingers being Dan Yaramia, who's been nice coming onto the wing recently since the injury to Jensen Talapio, plus also Phil Sami, who's off to you guys next year, actually, on the other wing.
Talk about that.
Centers, we've got Jojo Fafita, the big Jojo, and Jalen de Groot comes in with the HIA for AJ Brimson. So it's a big out there for the Titans and centers, but Jalen de Groot comes in, does his job. 6 is Jaden Campbell, and 7, obviously, Zane Harrison, the rookie, who had an absolutely phenomenal game against the Manly Sea Eagles on the weekend. And then you go to the front row forwards of big Moaki Fotuaika and Tina Fa'asuamalawi, 2 guys who also had a killer game on the weekend. Number 9, Oliver Pascoe, who's probably been our best player this season. And then you go to the back row of Adamaho and Bowie Firma, with the 13 being Chrissy Randall. And then the interchanges, Curtis Moran, Josh Paxton, Khalees Haas, the best Haas in the business. Don't know who the other bloke is. Cooper Bai, Sam Verrills, Lachlan Elias, Michael Molo, and then you got on the extended Sialatili Faimani and Adam Christensen. And coach, obviously, Josh Hannay.
Yeah, nice. Michael Molo there in the side. Think he'll get a run against his old club?
Well, hold on. 14, 15, no. So he's not in the 19 right now. I think there's a potential. Obviously, you're looking at least he's going up against his old side, but he's technically in the 19 there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll actually get on. No, look, I think that Moe and Tino have been doing some really good stuff recently, especially Tino in that game on Sunday against Manly. He's had a really poor season, actually, Tino. But we all know there's a few things that have been going on behind closed doors that have impacted his form. Look, he had a fantastic game on the weekend, and Moe's been really good lately. So I just don't know if Michael Molo will be able to get on, especially when we've got Cooper Bai and Khalees Haas on the bench as well.
Yeah, you got Adam Christensen, Jalen de Groot, Curtis Moran, and Siale Fiamani coming back. We said before, AJ is a big loss. What do you lose with him, and what do you get with Jalen de Groot coming into the side?
I think you just obviously lose that experience. So Jalen de Groot, he's a player that's been in and out of the team for a little bit now, especially last year. Just hasn't been able to find a spot in this lineup. I think his last game for us might have been actually over in Auckland against the Warriors, where we only lost by about 6 or 4 points or so. But yeah, look, the experience with AJ is the main thing. He's been with us for, 7-8 years now in comparison, and is one of the stalwarts of the team and is signed here until 2030 on a pretty sizable contract. So I guess he just missed that experience, especially in a backline there that's got a youthful Keanu Kenny, who's getting experience now, but he's still young. Right. Dan Yaramia needs that help, and Jojo Feeder is getting that experience now, but at least Phil has plenty to help Jalen de Groot out with.
Yeah, Moran returns too. He's a big in. He's not a bad player, Curtis Moran.
Oh, he has been. Like I did say before, that Oliver Pascoe's probably been our best player this year, but Curtis Moran has been, for mine, the best sign of the season. He's been absolutely incredible. His energy that he puts into this club. Like, we just want people to give a shit at this club. We just want people to come in and actually give it a crack, and that's what Curtis Moran's done. He's really shown to the Titans fans and the rest of people the NRL community who watch us on, that he's serious business, and he can score a try, he can run it hard, and he can smash out the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned a couple of one of the young blokes anyway, Oliver Pascoe, and Zane Harrison. Where's he from, and what's he all about? He's not a bad little player.
Yeah, no, Zane, he actually played New South Wales under 19s this year, and definitely last year I think he came. I don't know if he actually got on because Mitchell Woods was the 7, but he's been a part of that New South Wales under 19s, and now he's obviously with the Titans. Now he's grown up on the Gold Coast. He's actually been a Titans fan since he was a young boy, and he's just a youthful player that comes through the Palm Beach Currumbin system and Tweedhead Seagulls, and has won everything that is possibly there to be won as a young lad there, and as one of the schoolboys and all that kind of jazz. And now he's obviously getting his first time crack here in a club that has been without a 7 since essentially Scotty Prince back in, those late 2000s, early 2010s days. And now we've got something to build with. And Zane Harrison, very young player, but we've got a spine that we can build with in Keanu Kenny, Jaden Campbell, Zane Harrison, and Oliver Pascoe. Now, Pascoe isn't actually young. This is his rookie year. He's about 26 years old. But gee whiz, he's been fantastic. So Zane and Oliver coming in and working well early doors is a great sign for when they can actually build that connection long term.
They're two good players, like Pascoe and Zane Harrison. I've liked Zane Harrison in his last couple of games. He's been good.
Well, the thing is, with just quickly on Zane, the benefit to him is that we've never really had a game-defining 7 since Scotty Prince, like who has that ability to take that next step level, right? So Zane Harrison is a defining 7, a traditional 7, where we're not putting a 6 into the 7 anymore, who is more of a creative X-factor floater, and that's been a problem for us for a long time. So it's been good to see him decide the kicking, really define the play, and that's what we're getting benefited by the young youth of Zane Harrison.
All right, we'll just go to your coach, Josh Hannay. What has he had the impact you were hoping for this season as a Titans coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been fantastic because at the end of the day, we can't expect to be a world beater after coming second last year and fourth last 3 years in a row. We can't just expect to be in the top 8 or in the finals or win the grand final immediately. So Josh Hannay comes across from the Sharkies, and you've seen players be removed. You've seen guys like Oliver Pascoe debut, the youth of Zane Harrison. You've also got Curtis Moran having a brilliant time, and we've got a couple of signs for next year. So look, it is still quite low, but you are still seeing a lot of the positive and the potential that is coming from this team going forward. Yeah. So we just got to hope that it's not the end of season, fire up where teams like Parramatta last year, where they just won a whole bunch of games at the back end, then go and win the preseason. Everyone's like, oh, maybe the Eels are good, and then they tank it up in 2026. We're just going to hope it's not like that for us. But no, I've really liked Josh Hannay, and he was disappointed after the Manly result, despite the fact we won, which is a good sign that he's actually got the right intentions, that even when you win, you still want more.
Exactly. You will always want more. What does Philip Sami bring to the Dragons next year?
I think that's a great signing for you guys. Obviously, you've got a bunch of signings in across the entirety of the league. But look, Phil can have a rough one, but he also can be absolutely solid and just tough as nails. Like against Manly, unfortunately, his defense wasn't exactly there, which you probably would have seen. But overall, Phil is a really nice pickup, and I really wish we weren't losing him, to be fair, because he has been a part of us for 7-8 years now as well. But he is a strong player. He's got a good work ethic, and he'll make a bucket load of meters for you.
I hope he does. He scored 4 tries the other week. I hope he does that for us. Looking back at the Titans season so far, what's been the biggest positive, and where have the Titans fallen short in 2026?
I think the biggest positive was probably beating the Dragons, because that means we're not currently in last. Because if we had lost then, we would be in last. With all due respect. No, I think the biggest positive for us this season is that whilst we are still in a very similar position to as per usual, whilst we're still down there, we have seen these positives come through these games, like against the Broncos when Keaton Kinney obviously got that miracle try, or there was the Panthers game. We won 19-18 just a couple of weeks ago. Despite it being against a youth, like a reserve grade Panthers team, the Warriors still lost to that reserve grade Panthers team. So, we've had some really good ups in regards to those moments, but it's just about, building that depth, getting that consistency. And so far this season, we've seen that we are moving in that direction now. It was tough at the start, and it still is going to be tough, but we just got to have faith in the process that Josh Hannay is. And the biggest negative would be that it's still the same season as per usual, but at least we've got that vision going forward.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Hopefully we've got the same vision with our new coach. So we'll see how that goes on. We'll talk about that later. You've been talking about how much the team has improved over this year, and the results haven't gone your way like us. We've had some bad calls from the referee. You've had some bad calls from the referee. Everybody's had bad calls from the referee in the bunker. What's your take on the bunker? What are your thoughts?
I think that there's never an excuse for the bunker. I think there's always an excuse for the on-field referee, because that is a genuinely difficult job there. But when it comes to the bunker, so they claim this thing that they have all these different angles than we have. They have all these hundreds of angles at HG, and basically the greatest angles of all time. But we don't actually get to see them. But I don't understand why we don't get to see them. What's the point of us not being able to see them? When you've got them there, you can clearly show us, but there's a reason why they don't, because that is an excuse to say, we've got this, you don't. This is why we've called it, but you can't see it. So I think, the bunker definitely needs to be reviewed. What I really don't like, though, is that people keep saying we need to get rid of the bunker, which is essentially getting rid of the video referee. Because the bunker is quite literally the video referee. It's just slightly tinkered with. Now, if you get rid of the bunker/video referee, the amount of bad calls you will see will be 20 times worse than what you see now. That's not making an excuse for the bunker. It's just saying that this is bad and needs to be fixed, but it's not as bad as if we didn't have it. So, I'm not a massive fan of it in regards to the people that are there. But I also think the NRL should be held more accountable for making the rules so perspective-based and confusing, where referees are being thrown under the bus as well in the bunker.
Yeah, talk about the bunker. What about the Bradman best try in Origin? What were your thoughts on that one?
Well, obviously, I'm a Queenslander, so
I know. So am I, mate. So am I.
Put yourselves on mute.
Yeah, not a fan of that one.
Because they said they got the vision from the corner post camera.
No, well, they ended up admitting that it was wrong. That was all just like rumors and stuff. But there was one on the weekend with us. But we still won against Manly. But there was one on the weekend with us with the offside. Ruben Garrick was dead set meters offside, meters offside. Every single person.
Oh yeah.
In history.
Well, same as Origin, mate. Same as Origin, but you called Plathy offside. Tina had a fair argument, but so did Gutho. Gutho had plenty of fair arguments in the game against the.
I called it live with the forward pass too. I think everyone called that a forward pass for the Warriors.
It wasn't just that; it was two other calls where he stopped play. We could have scored off them. Anyway, that's getting off this game. Your most consistent performer?
It'd probably be Oliver Pascoe, but I guess most consistent, I would say it's actually Curtis Moran. He has been really consistent this year, coming off that 14 role. Tino, unfortunately, hasn't been. Moaki Fotuaika has probably been for the last, maybe since he's gotten the captaincy, since they had to shift it off to Moe. Well, you guys were trying to get him, I think, last year or the year beforehand, but obviously didn't get that one going. So, look, I would say our most consistent would have to be either Oliver Pascoe or Moran, but I will go with Moran I'll go with Moran slightly. Yeah,
I was going to ask you who was your outstanding youngster, but you just answered that, Oliver Pascoe.
Well, again, he's not actually that young. He's a rookie, but he's 26 years old. He's a late bloomer.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but he's still young to the NRL. Now, talking about recruitment, quick one before we go into the Dragons game.
This is my segment, the recruitment stuff.
Okay, I'm going to talk about what positions should the Titans be targeting for next year.
Well, obviously, we usually have wingers coming out of our arse at Gold Coast, really. We've had some brilliant wingers over our years, but unfortunately right now we've gone into a bit of a dark hole in that situation. Our 2 through 5 is all a little bit up in the air. Jojo is a guarantee, and because AJ can't play 5'8" or fullback, then he's a guarantee with the centre. Yeah. So realistically, we're losing Philip Sami. We lost Lofiana Camprera last year to the Warriors this year. We just don't have that consistency on the wing. So it would be definitely the wing, because I'm pretty okay with our back row, even though there are problems there and they need to really fix their form. I'm absolutely happy with our front row. The spine obviously stays here until 2030 in a minimum kind of deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm pretty happy with our bench. I think Chrissy Randall needs to step up a little bit more on that 13. But overall, it'd be the wings for sure, which is not usually what we say at the Gold Coast.
Yeah. You got a couple of players signed till 2030, haven't you? Jaden Campbell.
JC, Keanu Kenny, Tino signed till 2034.
Oh, wow.
We've got plenty of these guys that are all signed pretty long term, and they believe in the future.
Nice. Scoop wants to ask you about players off contract. Scoop.
Yep. So we'll run through a list of names, and then you can talk about each of them. So let me just go to the top. Starting from the top, Siali. Sorry if I butcher his name.
Faimani.
Faimani. Jermaine Chalifi. It's pretty much been. There is breaking news. He's going to be signing Huddersfield Giants.
Huddersfield.
Jet Liu, former Dragon Jr. Tukey Simpkins. Sam Ferrells. And then there's one here which has been forgotten about. Yeah, Alan Fitzgibbon.
Okay, so in Jimmy Jolliffe, look, I'm sad to be losing Jimmy off Jamin Jolliffe, obviously over to the Huddersfield Giants. He's been very good. He's coming off an ACL injury, so obviously that's always a worry. But no, I think that we'll be okay long term. But I do really think that is a big loss for us because he's great in regards to that bench rotation in the front row, and can obviously start too. And he did some great work when Tino was gone. So love a bit of Jimmy Jolliffe, but that's understandable. Sam Verrills, look, it's time for him to move on. We've got Oliver Pascoe, and it just hasn't necessarily worked out here. Which no ill will to him. Want the best for him. The Bulldogs even maybe knocking on his door. I'm not too sure. And they need someone like him. I think Toogie Simpkins should probably be re-signed, but it looks like Josh Hannay isn't a massive fan of him as we currently speak. He was originally at the Tigers, and now he's with us, but he just doesn't seem like he's massively on the Hannay books. And Faimani hasn't really impressed so far, but he's also been injured a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got like a 1 year contract because that's a winger. And if we got rid of a winger, then we'd be in dire straits on the wing. So I think that Faimani probably sticks on. But outside of that, everything else is pretty understandable.
What about Alan Fitzgibbon? That's the last player that hasn't been signed.
Fitzgibbon is a winger. He's had his opportunity. There are... I don't know, like maybe again because we're so light on wingers. Like I wouldn't be surprised if either Faimani, who is currently on the extended here, or if Fitzgibbon was re-signed there. But I wouldn't hold your breath in regards to a guaranteed contract there. I think it's more about just wait and see by the end of the season before they make a play at those wingers.
All right, thanks, Scoop. All right, let's go into the Dragons Titans game now, Blaze. What worries you most about facing the Dragons at Cogra?
Worries me most. Well, obviously, so I live stream every single game of every single team, so I know full well how the Dragons are going right now. I know that they are going a lot better in recent weeks, even in their losses. I think ever since the last real bad loss you had was against Newcastle when that was down at Wollongong, actually. I think that was the last real bad loss you've had because the Panthers game, you guys still kicked on for quite a good bit there, but obviously still found a way to lose. Same thing happened with the first Warriors game where you kicked on quite a bit, but it's just wet weather over there in Auckland. Or was it in Auckland or Cogra? I can't remember.
It was at Cogra, yeah.
Yeah, Cogra.
Might have been Wollongong, actually. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's a tough place. But overall, Dragons have been sticking in games. It's just the biggest issue with them is their final 20 minutes of games typically, where they will throw it all away then. Like, even though this is all the way back in round 2, the game against the Melbourne Storm, where you're up 20-16 with 20 minutes to go, was a prime example of this before losing 46-20. So I do worry about the fact that Dragons could get ahead of us by a little bit in that first 60, but I also still feel confident that if we're within, a couple of tries, that we could come back in that last 20. And I guess it's not even necessarily too much about travelling away to Cogra. If it was at Wollongong, I think we lose because Keanu Kinney would get slaughtered under the high ball down there. I know how windy it is. I know how tough Wollongong is.
He scored a great tie down there a couple of years ago, I think it was, off the kickoff. I think it was that Keanu Kinney.
It might have been Keanu. I can't really remember. I would have been there for that, but I don't know if that was him or not. But I just know that he's been having a lot of serious troubles with his high ball catching. I know the Dragons will be targeting that absolutely this week, like every single team does. That's probably my biggest concern in terms of Keanu is unbelievable, but the Dragons, surely you'd be seeing guys like Atkinson and Flanagan just putting the ball up as high as humanly possible. Yeah,
that's right. You just called our halves, Atkinson and Flano. Who's going to be the biggest threat from the Dragons against the Titans?
I think it comes down to your forwards, really, because our forwards are pretty hot and cold. Like, we can have an amazing game from Fodawaker and Fa'asuamaleaui in the weekend, but they can also go extremely cold as well. And the same thing goes for Adam Maho and Bo Firma and also Chrissy Randall. Whilst your guys, obviously, they're very young. So Hamish Stewart, super young. Dylan Egan, super young. Couchman Boys, Pacific Tonga, was on our radar for a little bit. Obviously, Damien Cook moving on next year, which I I would assume, coming into that. Connor Watson goes into the hooker. But look, I think that there's not really a player in the back line, with all due respect. Maybe Val Holmes, maybe. He's very 50-50 at the moment. But there's not really a player in the back line that really terrifies me too much. But I would say that the forwards could definitely get something going against us. And obviously, we did a good job against you guys. Well, it was a shocking game, but we had a good job against you up there at Seabus. So But yeah, your young guys, they obviously can do something in the forwards, and more so like Egan and Hamish Stewart for mine.
We talked about your top players before, but who needs to step up if the Titans are going to come away with a win?
I think it's going to have to be like in a general level, as a general player. I'm talking about guys like Bowie Firma. I think that he really needs to step up and be the more consistent player that we've known from him over the years, where he was knocking on the door of Queensland. He was in the Queensland extended squad. I do think that Bo Firma needs to really improve. And same thing goes with Chrissy Randall there. But if we're talking about an individual aspect of the game that could be the make or break of winning a game down at this area of the table, it is going to be Keanu Kenny with him catching the high balls. Because if he cannot catch a high ball, then any team, it doesn't matter who we're playing. It could be Burleigh Bears, it could be Newtown Jets, it could be Cumberland, Glebe Reds. Like it could be any of those guys, they'll find a way to beat us because we'll keep giving up possession on our own 10. So that's the biggest issue in regards to Keanu. But I also know, and we all know how electric he is as a player, and he can dominate a game himself as well. So I'll be putting the captaincy on him on Supercoach.
It might work. Actually, the next question is, what do you think about our pack? A pack of young blokes who are going to go a long way, I think.
Yeah, well, obviously, Lockup Pacific Tonga was on our radar for a little bit at the beginning of this year, but I think that obviously now that the Dragons have moved in a different direction post Shane Flanagan, you know, it's been decided that he obviously is going to stay, which is a great coup for you guys. And yeah, look, I think your forwards are super young, super fresh. They've got a lot to prove, and that's a good thing because they want to prove that they're not last position. I don't think you guys have ever won the wooden spoon before, have you, as a merge?
Oh, as a merge, no. I know. I think we've got about 6. As
I think the Steelers might have won a couple.
Yeah, Dragons won a couple back in the day, so we've got them as well, but none as a merge, no.
Yeah, so like I think that they've obviously got a lot to prove in regards to their own individual career, but I also think that they obviously just really would like to try and avoid the first spoon in the history of the merge sides, and that's not being used as an insult, as in like merge. That's just the fact that it is a merge club. So I think the forwards are great, and I think they should go good guns. It just comes down to what Titans 4-pack turns up on the day.
Yeah, I've got a stat on Hamish Stewart coming up a bit later about how many tackles he makes, so that'll be good to see. Scoop, you got any questions for Blaze before we let him go?
No.
Oh, no, come on. You're supposed to be part of the show. You've got to have a question. Ask. Okay, that's it. You're off the show. You're off the show, Scoop. It's just.
No, I can't think of anything, Big T.
It's just me and Blaze from now on.
No. Look at you on your co-host.
Yeah, what are the battles and clashes you're looking forward to in this game?
I guess experience between Gutho and the X factor and creativity of Keanu Kenny. And Gutho is actually, funnily enough, playing for a spot right now because next year, obviously, Scott Drinkwater comes across, and you would assume that Scott Drinkwater will go straight to that fullback, which will give you a bit more X factor and creativity. It doesn't help you on defensively, but it does help you attacking wise. So Gutho will have to be shifted, and it comes down to, will they put him anywhere else? I don't know. I don't think they'll put him back into 5'8" like they have done before. I don't really think.
There's talk of him moving to centre and Val Holmes moving to the wing. So we'll see what happens.
Is Val Holmes a winger anymore, though? Like, I know Val Holmes has been a great winger in his time, but is he a winger anymore?
Against the Tigers, when he moved to the wing when Sloane went off, he turned into Superman. Scored 2 tries, kicked every goal he went for. The confidence came back. So I'm thinking that Valentine Holmes moving to the wing might be a good thing.
Or maybe, we'll see. So, yeah, look, I think that that battle will be interesting for completely opposite reasons. But then it just comes down to, the inexperience of our halves versus the – I don't even think – you can't call inexperience with Carl Flanagan. He's been around for a long time now.
That's right, he has, yeah.
Buddy Roosters, Dragons. And Atkinson is – I wouldn't say he's inexperienced. Like, he's still had a couple of years of the Sharkies, and now he's here at the Dragons. And he's got a big game by winning against the Storm down there in Melbourne with the Sharks. So it's like, I guess it's the inexperience of our halves up against the relative experience of the Dragons halves, and just who can get something going more. Because, like, when you look at the attack for both these teams this year, the Titans, we've had a lot of problems with our attack, like a significant amount of problems as we're trying to work through the teething of our young spine. And we've scored around 35 points. But the Dragons, with these guys, they thought Daniel Atkinson was going to be the guy to really take them to the next level. Well, they're at 256 points and the worst attacking team in the competition. So whilst we've had our problems, if for some reason we're still finding a way to be up by about 80 odd points than the Dragons so far this year. It's like we're at least we're above the Eels and also the Broncos on the old attack, and also the Bulldogs. We were actually second worst for attack. Now we're fifth worst for attack. So at least we're moving in the positive direction there. But your halves obviously need to turn up here because we've been having a lot better games recently.
Yeah. Oh, Jess wants me to ask you, how did you feel to beat the old player Kieran Foreman, who's now a coach, Blaze? I don't know why, but there's a question for you.
So I know Fozza. I know him personally. He's a great bloke from my time at the Titans. You know, obviously, I would like to see him be extremely successful as a coach, and I want to see him be extremely successful, as a man. But at the end of the day, I want my team to win. So he just has to take a side seat as the Titans go and slap Manly, and same with my dad, who is also a Manly fan. So as much as I love Fozza, I love my club.
And you love your dad.
I love
everybody should love their dad.
When it comes to Manly, give Manly out of the way. I love my dad, but screw Manly.
Nobody likes Manly. You know that.
Manly. No one.
All right, I got just a couple more. If you were sitting in the coach's chair for one game, what's the first thing you'd change?
Are you talking about for the Titans or for the Dragons?
The Titans. Oh, we can do both. For the Titans, what would you change?
For the Titans, I'd probably give Cooper Bye a few more minutes, that's for sure. But I would also just say, and this might sound like a little bit of a cop-out, but I do genuinely just trust what Josh Hannay is doing for the most part. So I don't even really want to go against Josh Hannay's decision-making here. I think maybe Tony Francis has been killing it for the youth level. He's been killing it in the Q Cup. I probably would have given Tony Francis a crack, but it's obviously that he's on the outer here at the Titans. Yeah. I might have thought about giving him a go. It just is what it is. He's not getting that opportunity. So maybe that would be, if I had to be pushed for an answer, it would be Tony Francis to probably come in there. But, Jalen can hold his own. But I also want to see Cooper get more minutes. And then for the Dragons, I just don't really think there is too much that you can really do right now. I think you've got to look for the off-season and wait for Scott Drinkwater to come in and Luke Metcalf and Phil Sami and John Kilitungi, and then you can obviously decide from next year.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be a totally different side next year. I've worked it out what's going to happen, Blake. I worked out what's going to happen. The gods are going to work this out for me. We're going to win the wooden spoon this year, and then we're going to be premiers next year. So there you go, from basement to penthouse in 1 year. Look at Newcastle.
Yeah, I'll agree with 50% of that. I'll agree with 50% of what you've just said there.
We're going to win the spoon. That's what we're going to agree with.
That would be the one that I'll agree with, 50% there. You bring up a good point in regards to Newcastle, but I will also counter this point by saying that the Knights clearly had a pretty good team there waiting with the likes of Callum Ponga, with the likes of a few of these other guys, Dylan Lucas and Bradman Bess and Greg Martin, that they had a good team there, but they just had a guy in Adam O'Brien that didn't really know what he was doing. So he was kind of lucking out in regards to the team, which I guess you could argue he built, but he was lucking out in regards to them still getting to top 8. Whilst the Dragons still respectfully haven't been in the top 8 since 2019, I think it was, and there is still 2018, so they haven't been there for a while. Whilst the Knights have already kind of had that team there, but it's just they had a bit of a muppet when it came to the old coaching. But look, it's not a guarantee that you get the wooden spoon this year. However, if you lose this game, it is a guarantee. If you lose this game, if you win this game, the issue, and I've been saying this a lot on my streams, is that whilst you'd only be 2 wins behind, so we're on 5 and you're on 2, you'd go to 3. The issue is your points differential is minus 247.
Oh, exactly
and
right.
the Titans are minus 106. So that's about a 140-odd swing on points differential. Yeah. Unless you won this game by 40 to switch it by an 80 swing, the fact is that it's essentially a 3-game gap still. So right this very second, it's actually currently a 4-game gap, even though it's only 3. But if you don't win by enough, it's still going to be a 3-game gap. So can you see, and realistically, can you see the Dragons getting, even if they get this win here this week, 3 more wins than the Titans did for the rest of the season? And that's the biggest question that you have to ask.
I think we get 3 wins for the rest of the season, and one of them's the Titans. So there you go. I could be right. I could be wrong. So
that would then come down to the fact the Titans have to lose every game from here on out.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously, then also the points differential would have to swing enough because if you think 3, you've still got 6 games after this one, which would mean that. Yeah, I think that points differential would be super close if it went down that path.
I think you guys don't play anybody out of the top 9 for the rest of the season, isn't it?
I'll quickly have a look. We got a lot of home games. Like we play 6 out of our last 8 games at home, including the last one that we just had.
I think you're playing 6 to the top 9.
So we play the Warriors at home next week, and then the Cowboys at home the week after. The Knights away the week after that, and then the Sharks at home, Rabbitohs at home, and the Dolphins at home. The Dolphins obviously might be fighting for a spot. Rabbitohs might be fighting for a spot. Yeah. Sharks are pretty good.
So it's not an easy run.
It's not an easy run, but also, we were able to go and beat the Panthers 19-18 the other week.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to.
You beat Manly. Manly are up there too, or were up there. So
beat Manly. Should have beaten them down there at Brookie too, to be completely honest with you, but we just missed a conversion. We went close with the more experienced Storm down there in Melbourne. We only lost controversially talking about bunker buddy bullshit. Tell you what.
Yeah, I know.
Tell you what,
I know. They've come out three times this year and apologised to the Dragons that they got it wrong.
We get an apology every damn week at this point.
I know. It's crazy.
It's Apology Monday.
I think they need to go to AI. AI should be running the bunker.
Anything that we've got right now.
Do a better job.
Well, we're not going to put you in the bunker, Scoop, because then you'll just give Dragons a try every 2 seconds. We can't be allowing that. But you know what? You can go in the bunker next week, not this week. Not against the Titans. You can go in the bunker next week. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I'd like to have a sit in at the bunker and have a look what goes on and see how hard it is, because it would be. The bunker's a bit different to being on the field, but it'd still be a hard job.
The thing is that I don't actually think it is that difficult of a job. We all have eyes. You have eyes.
Oh, exactly right. I do the same thing at home.
Eyes. It makes no sense. Like, we are literally a bunker without the ability to impact the call. They're just the same thing, but being able to impact the call, and they get it wrong. So I just think it's ridiculous. And whilst we need it, we just need to fix it.
I think it should be just 3 punters, one from the Titans, one from Dragons, and a partial unbiased third, and you've got a red and a green light. If you reckon it's a try, you hit green. If you don't reckon it's a try, hit red. There you go. And if you get 2 out of 3, it's a try, or 2 red ones, it's no try.
Let's just get all 3 Titans fans. I think that's the most fair way to do it. I think that's the most fair way to do it. We'll get myself. We'll get Sly, and we'll also get Clarkey. How about that? All 3 Titans fans in, and
with me,
we'll make a decision.
Well, you 3, and then we can have me, Jess, and Scoop.
No, unfortunately, sorry. There's only 3 people allowed in the room, so it'll just be things. And don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
Thank you very much. Okay, finally, your prediction for the game, the score, first try scorer, and give us a man of the match.
Look, I think this is as 50-50 as it comes. It comes down to what Dragons team turns up and what Titans team turns up. I'm not super confident. Obviously, we did win against the Dragons earlier this year in one of the worst games of the year. At least the Tigers Knights beat us out for worst game of the year. But look, I'm going to back in when it's a 50-50 game, I have to back in my team. If I genuinely thought we would lose, confidently, I would say that. I'll probably go with a 26-18, 26-20 kind of scoreline. I think there should be some points in this, but then again, maybe not, because both teams defensively have been a lot better recently. Maybe it is more of an 18-14 kind of game or a 20-16 kind of game. I'm not sure. But what I can guarantee you is that every fan across the game will probably say this is the worst game of the season. I promise you. By the end of this game, I know it won't be, but I promise you that everyone who's not a Dragons or a Titans fan will automatically think second last versus last. So guaranteed that means regardless of the score, regardless of how it plays out, that was just so boring, so bland, and just awful. So I think we're going to actually have an exciting game. I think it'll be good because there's 2 teams here that are hopefully on the up. And I'll go. Look, I think then I'll go 2016. 2016.
2016.
Hold on a second. Listen to his dribble. Our team's been duped by the bunker more than any other club. See, this is the problem with people like this. Christopher, with all due respect, man, everybody cops it. Like, literally everybody. So,
everybody.
I watch every single game we stream with all different fans of all different clubs every single week. With all due respect, the Dragons do cop it, but I promise you we cop it. I promise you the Tigers cop it. I promise you all those bottom teams cop it. And even top teams do cop it as well, because the bunker and the officiating is just an absolute shambles at the moment. So, look, whilst I respect that you're obviously frustrated by it, the fact of the matter is that you cop it just as much as we do, and we cop it just as much as you do, because there has been multiple games in a couple of weeks. Like, they've already apologised for the Manly game that we won. They apologised for the Manly game that we won. And the week beforehand, we also had an apology about the Storm game. We've had 5 apologies this year alone. So,
I know.
It's no disrespect to you, Christopher. It's just that, trust me, when you look at it from an outsider's perspective, you will know that everybody cops.
That's right. Exactly right. Because you watch your team, and you know your team cops it, but you understand that. I don't think the Tigers have had a game this year without a sin bin.
Is that right? The Tigers have never had a sin bin?
No, without a sin bin.
Okay.
Happy Coruscant's been going off, and then Twal slapped silly salmon. That was a funny move.
Well, Warriors, you know what's funny about this? The Warriors used to always cop it. And then their CEO came out and had a whinge on socials. Have you noticed that since then the calls have been completely the opposite in regards to Warriors, and look at them at the top of the table? And that's not really, that did happen publicly.
It happened to the Cowboys a couple of years ago. That
about 10 years ago, yeah.
Todd Payton had a big whinge. It wasn't 10 years ago. It was only a few years ago. Todd Payton had a whinge, and then they ran 5th or 6th in the competition that next year.
That is true. I was thinking about when they got robbed in the finals a couple of times in a row against the Sharks with the set, and then also the Warriors game as well. That was like 10, 11 years ago. But Titans win 20-16, and we're going first try. Keanu
Kenny, like he scored the first try a couple of years ago. All right, Blaze, thanks very much. All the way from Kazakhstan, traveling the world. BKR Sport, tell us a bit about that, mate.
Yeah, well, like I've said a couple of times here, I stream every game and my reaction to every single game. We haven't missed a single minute of rugby league this year on the YouTube channel BKR Sport. So, yeah, just doing our thing. I know Annie, who's around here, but he gets around it, and I'm sure that I'm going to have to get the grief from Annie this weekend with the Titans Dragons game on Sunday. So no, it's good fun. We obviously talked with the live community, and we have some good laughs at our own expense for the most part.
That's another one from Jess. Would you come on for the Dragons Titans NRL in a few weeks? It'll be on a Wednesday. Because we now do.
The issue with this is that because I do every NRL game, I'm not able to watch the NRLW because they're on at the same time as the NRL. So it would kind of be pointless, and especially when the Titans are going to win the comp in the NRLW, Jesse, it's going to be a bit of an issue when we win by 70 points the first half. All right, so I'm not able to actually respectfully watch the NRLW, and that doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's just I'm too busy in regards to what we do. But there you go. But yeah, so Titans win and slap it up.
Yeah, there's a good way. Maybe the bunker should get fined for wrong calls. Maybe that'll stop them getting wrong calls. Mr. Worldwide, there you go. From he's out in Kazakhstan. He's on his way to Russia. He's doing a lot.
I'm pretty sure if that's the same GT I'm thinking of, that's a Dolphins fan there. So he's getting around the Dragons versus Titans on the opposite side of the table. Good on you, GTTT. Watching a podcast about two teams, and I know we're close here, but appreciate you guys as per usual, and hopefully we see you in the finals. Maybe not this year, but hopefully next year when you guys get all your players and we build through our spine.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for joining us. You're always fantastic, and hopefully we'll see you again next year.
Yep, too easy. All right, catch up. Thanks for having
me. No
on.
worries, mate. Bye.